Most people believe their position is flexible, that people are still deciding, that effort, time, or consistency will eventually change how they are seen. They assume their place is negotiable, but human behavior works differently. In most social systems, your place is decided early, not consciously, not verbally, but behaviorally. People don't wait to understand your full story. They don't analyze your potential. They place you based on what feels predictable. And once that placement happens, interactions follow it automatically. This is why many people improve, grow, and work harder yet remain treated the same. Because movement is not about effort, it's about position. And position is decided faster than most people realize. Human behavior is organizational. The brain is constantly sorting environments, not morally, but efficiently. It asks simple questions. Who leads? Who supports? Who adapts? Who follows? This sorting happens automatically. Every interaction feeds the system data, tone, pacing, presence, emotional steadiness. Before words carry meaning, the nervous system reads structure. Once structure is sensed, the brain relaxes into it. That structure becomes default. This is not about judgment. It is about reducing uncertainty. The brain conserves energy by deciding early where people belong. And once that decision feels stable, it resists updating it. Placement does not wait for performance. It happens during initial exposure. The first few interactions carry disproportionate influence, not because they are accurate, but because they feel informative. The nervous system is biased toward first patterns. If early signals suggest adaptability, you are placed where adaptability belongs. If early signals suggest steadiness, you are placed where direction comes from. After that, behavior is filtered. Everything you do is interpreted through that placement. This is why later effort often fails to move perception. People are not re-evaluating. They are reinforcing. And reinforcement feels like truth. This is where confusion begins. Many people assume value and position are the same. They are not. You can be valuable and still placed peripherally. You can be competent and still not be oriented around. Value answers the question, is this useful? Position answers, do we organize around this? Most frustration comes from confusing the two. People feel underappreciated when the real issue is misplacement. They are included, but not central. Respected, but not referenced. Because value earns appreciation. Position earns gravity. And gravity is not requested. It is assigned. Effort does not automatically change position. Effort often reinforces it. When effort appears without grounding, it confirms support roles. Responsiveness communicates availability. Availability communicates flexibility. Flexibility communicates adaptability, not direction. Direction is what systems follow. This is why many capable people become indispensable without becoming influential. They are relied on, but not oriented around, because reliance follows usefulness. Orientation follows gravity. Gravity is felt, not negotiated. So people keep doing more, hoping effort will upgrade placement. But behavior without repositioning only deepens the original category. This explains a common experience. You contribute, but decisions happen elsewhere. You speak. But momentum does not shift. You are respected, but not deferred to. Nothing is hostile. Nothing is dismissive. You are simply not the organizing point, because organization follows perceived certainty, not contribution, and certainty is behavioral, not verbal. People do not choose this consciously. They respond automatically to what feels settled and what feels movable. This is why seriousness is not granted by competence. It is granted by presence. And presence stabilizes systems before words ever do. Weight is built through what you do not rush, how you pause, how you hold silence, how you resist filling space. People unconsciously track who needs the room and who is the room. The one who rushes to clarify signals instability. The one who waits signals grounding. These are not personality traits. They are nervous system signals. The brain aligns with what feels settled, not what feels urgent. This is why calm and gravity are often confused. Calm can be passive. Gravity reorganizes without force, and systems follow what reorganizes them. Many people mistake authority for dominance. They try to assert, to emphasize, to perform certainty. But authority does not come from control. It comes from regulation. A regulated presence reduces cognitive load in others, and the brain prefers what costs less energy. This is why some people speak little yet shape direction, while others speak often and remain peripheral. Authority is not volume. It is steadiness, not confidence, but containment. When a presence feels contained, others adjust around it. Not because they are impressed, but because alignment feels easier than resistance. Over time, these signals accumulate. They form reputation without explanation. You become known before you are understood. Someone whose presence stabilizes, or someone who adds friction. That reputation decides who waits for you, who checks with you, who moves without you. Once formed, it becomes self-reinforcing. Because people treat you based on what they expect. An expectation shapes interaction before intention enters. This is why first impressions linger. Not because they are accurate, but because they feel efficient. And efficiency is persuasive to the nervous system. This realization is uncomfortable because it removes blame, but also removes excuses. It is not about being louder, or smarter, or more assertive. It is about noticing what your presence teaches. Every interaction answers a silent question. Should I slow down here or move past this? That answer shapes everything. And most people never realize they are teaching it constantly, without words. Awareness is not criticism. It is leverage. Once you see placement happening, you regain choice, not over others, but over what you communicate. The goal is not to dominate. The goal is to anchor. Anchors do not pull. They hold. They allow others to orient. When your nervous system is grounded, others relax into alignment. That is how influence forms without effort. Because people naturally organize around what feels stable, not what demands attention. This is why understanding behavior is more effective than analyzing personality. You are not fixed, and neither is your impact. Impact shifts when the system receives new signals. Signals that say this does not need fixing. Patterns do not shift through force. They shift through interruption, letting moments breathe, not rushing resolution, holding presence without performance. These small changes recalibrate perception. They tell others this has weight, not because you declared it, but because you embodied it. Over time, behavior changes response, not through effort, but through communication. This is how gravity builds, quietly, without resistance, without confrontation. The system adjusts because the signals changed, not because it was persuaded. At first, this feels uncomfortable, because efficiency feels safe. Filling space feels productive. Explaining feels responsible. But safety built on urgency is fragile. Real safety comes from steadiness. And steadiness is felt, not announced. Each pause rewrites expectation. Each held moment builds gravity. You may feel the urge to explain, to justify, to prove. That urge is the pattern loosening. You do not need to do more. You need to signal less urgency. Because urgency communicates instability, not importance. People do not decide how much you matter after you act. They decide it before you move. That decision shapes how your actions land, not through fairness, but through perception. Once perception shifts, everything else follows. Not through force, but through alignment. This is not about becoming bigger. It is about becoming clearer. When your presence settles, others respond differently. Not because you changed who you are, but because you changed what your nervous system communicates, and that communication precedes every interaction you will ever have. When that changes, your actions finally land. Not louder, but heavier. Not faster, but deeper. That is how people decide where you belong. Before you ever act. Not consciously, not verbally, but behaviorally. Once you understand this, effort becomes effective. Not because you try harder, but because you are placed differently. And placement determines response. This is not about control, it is about clarity. And clarity changes everything. Because systems don't follow intention, they follow what feels stable enough to organize around.